Yo, what's up guys? I'm Daniel Rai from Eyes.of.a.Misfit and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite some time that I haven't uploaded any videos. I think it's been actually more than a year. So yeah, to be honest, I've been pretty lazy and I've also been busy. I've been a part of two feature films in the past 1.5 to 2 years. One of them was Broken Wings and we recently finished shooting the other one, and that one's called Jar. And last year in September, I was also a part of a short film and I was one of the DOPs in that short film. And currently I've been at home doing a lot of editing short films and all those kind of stuff, mainly because of the lockdown, because I took up those projects because I didn't want to stay at home idle. I wanted to still be active. So yeah, anyway, I put up this post on Instagram and Facebook a couple of weeks back asking people to ask me any question, and I got a lot of questions. A lot of them were from my friends asking a bunch of stuff that I will not be answering, but I did get a bunch of good questions and I've compiled those questions and I'll answer them today. So let's get to it. So the first question is, when did your passion for photography start? The first time I remember using a camera was when I was a little kid. The first camera I ever used was Yashica FX3, I think. Yashica FX3, one of those like really early SLR cameras, film SLR cameras. And after I grew up and when I was in school, I used to use a Nikon point-and-shoot camera, just casually shooting here and there. But it was only when I reached college, first year in college, I got my first DSLR, and that is when the passion started. I used to shoot a lot of concerts and events, so that's how it all began. And later on, I moved to Delhi, and that is when I got a new camera as well, and I started making videos and all those type of stuff. I started to take the whole thing seriously because I was still passionate about photography and cinematography. So yeah, that's how it all started. Question number 2 is, what's the most uncomfortable moment while working? Okay, so there are a couple of uncomfortable, awkward moments, but I know one that I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this or not, but this was around 2014 and 2015 when I was still in Delhi working there. I was working for this clothing brand from Nagaland, and we had a shoot. So we had already finished day 1 of 3 days of shooting, and it was during the second day. One of the models was wearing a really long dress which was dragging on the floor, right? And and when she was walking and coming into the set, one of her, that dress got caught in between one of the light stands, I think, or it was something pointy, like a nail or something that was coming out of the sofa. I think it was the light stand, and the dress got caught in the light stand, right? And her dress came off. It actually tore, the dress tore, and I was with my camera. I was about to click her, and yeah, unfortunately I saw everything which was really awkward for me, and I immediately turned around and she was on the floor and like she screamed, and I said like, wait, stay still, I'll not turn, I'll just go out, ask someone to come in and help you. So I went out and asked one of the other model to help her out, and yeah, that was pretty awkward. I think it was more awkward for her than for me, but yeah, we were pretty professional about everything. I went out, the other girl came in, helped her out, fixed the dress, and we started shooting after like an hour or something. So yeah, that was weird. Question number 3 is, were your parents always supportive of your career choice? At first, my parents, my mom and dad, weren't really supportive. They were like really skeptical about the path I had chosen. But my uncle is in the media field as well. He's a journalist, so he actually helped me a lot when I was in Delhi. It was through him that I got to meet a lot of other journalists and photographers, and I was doing a part-time internship for a newspaper as well in Delhi. And yeah, after I did pretty okay in Delhi, I came back to Darjeeling and things were going pretty well for me. So after my parents realized that I was doing pretty okay, they were pretty supportive, and they were really supportive when I first started off as well. But I don't think they thought that I'd take photography as a career. They actually bought my first DSLR, the Nikon 3100. They actually bought me that for Christmas. So yeah, they were really supportive. But a lot of my other family members weren't very supportive as well. They used to always criticize me for what I was doing. But then again, you can't listen to everyone, right? You have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to your heart. You do what you want. So yeah. Question number 4 is, content is king. Do you believe in that? Of course, I believe that content is really important. I also think that without good content, you can't technically make something really good. You can always make something, but if the content isn't very good, then what's the point, right? You can have any amount of good equipment, good cameras, but if your main story, the spine of the whole thing is broken, then what's the point? So yeah, I think content is king, but that does not mean just because your story or your content is good, that does not mean you should be lacking in other aspects as well, like the sound or the video part or anything related to the whole content. And the perfect product would be the balance between both of these things: a good story, a good background, and it's always backed up with good cinematography and good sound and effects and everything else, even the production and everything else. If there's a balance between all of these things, then it's just perfect. That's what I feel. Moving on to question number 5. What do you do in your free time? Okay, so when I'm not working and when I have a lot of time in hand, I normally go out for rides. I love riding. I love my scooter. I go out to a lot of places. I especially go to Sikkim a lot. I just love traveling to Sikkim. And I also play a lot of video games with my friends. It's been quite a few days that I haven't been playing. I've been pretty busy with the whole editing, but yeah, I love playing games in my free time. I love spending time with my family as well. I do cook sometimes if I feel like it. So yeah, that's most of the things I do when I'm free. That's about it. And I also travel sometimes. Moving on to question number 6 is, what's the best project you've ever done? Well, there are a couple of really good projects that I've done. When I was freelancing in Delhi, I used to work for companies like Vans and DC and Red Bull for like skate events and all those type of stuff, and those were amazing. Like, I really had a good time, and I always grew up with that skateboarding, DC, Vans era. So yeah, that was a good time. And I also had a good time in Broken Wings, while shooting Broken Wings and shooting Jar as well. But I'd definitely say one of the best projects I've ever done was a project that I did in Rajasthan. It was a collaboration between 2 companies, Intrepid Travels and Playground Ideas. So what I had to basically shoot was Playground Ideas, a company from Australia. They make playgrounds from recyclable waste for underprivileged children, and they were making a playground in Rajasthan, and I had to cover that whole event, that story. So yeah, that was a pretty good 5 to 7 days of shooting. So I really had a good time, and I was alone in that shoot, so I was the only one shooting. So yeah, I really had a good time. question number 7 is, what happened to Moodle Sessions? I knew this was coming. So what happened to Moodle Session is I basically put it on hold because of COVID, and also because I could not find. I know there are a lot of genuinely good artists out there, but I could not find someone that really wanted to become a musician, someone who had that fire in them. And there are a lot of people here that can play the guitar or play any instrument or sing really good. There are a lot of people here, but that does not necessarily mean that they want to become musicians. So my basic goal is to help those people who really want to become musicians. And the main goal of Moodle Sessions was to promote those type of musicians, not to bring in musicians from all over the place, not to just make content. I genuinely wanted to help them. And since I produce Moodle Sessions by myself, I do the whole thing, I shoot everything. So I didn't want all of my effort to go to waste as well on someone who just wanted to sing for the sake of it. So yeah, and right now I've been going through a lot of people. I've actually talked with a couple of people already for the next episodes. So those guys are ready. They've said yes to the whole thing, and once COVID is over, or once everything gets a little better and we're able to like go out freely, I'll probably start shooting again, and Moodle Sessions will be back. Okay, so we're down to the last question, and that question is, how was your experience working in JAR? Any memorable moments? Okay, JAR was a really fun and memorable project overall. One thing that was really memorable was, I think it's a compilation of many things actually. So what happened was, one time we were shooting at night. We had a night sequence, and I was running all over the set, going from point A to point B. So I was on set and I was running towards where the camera was. It was a really long wide shot. So I was briefing the actress, and I was coming back to the camera. And what happened was, one of the boom operators, he told me, don't run so fast, the ground's shaking. And I laughed because he was joking around, right? But apparently there was an earthquake. I forgot the date. It's quite recent, back in April towards the first week of April. So yeah, that happened. There was an earthquake while we were shooting, and once I realized it was an earthquake, what struck me was the actress was inside a house and she was alone inside the house. Everyone was outside, and that thing just hit me, that sense of danger that the building might collapse. So as soon as I realized it was an earthquake, I turned around and went running back towards her, because as the chief AD, the responsibility of the actors and the whole crew is my thing, right? It's my responsibility. So I ran towards her, and thankfully she was already outside. She wasn't inside, and the building didn't collapse. But still, it's just a precaution, right? So yeah, that happened. And the other thing that happened was, we were shooting the second schedule for JAR, and we were in Zuluk, right? And it was going pretty well. And the shoot was going pretty well. We were there for like 3 days, 2 to 3 days. And towards the last day of the shoot, it was around 3 to 4, between 3 and 4 p.m. And we were doing our last shot, right? And it started to rain, drizzle actually. But what happened next was, it started to snow. So we had a really great time shooting that last half. It started to snow and it looked really beautiful. And that's actually not the best part. So after we were done shooting that, we had to shift to another place so that we could head back home. So before shifting, it started to rain, and there was a lot of hailstorm as well. So it was so intense that the whole road was covered with snow and hailstones. And all of those roads were not very good roads. They were all off-road. So our car got stuck in between the road and a cliff. So we almost died there. The car started to slip when we were moving. We were trying to go forward. So yeah, that was an experience. So yeah, a lot of things happened during JAR. We had a really good time, to be honest. And what I realized was it really changed me. Shooting JAR really changed me. The type of person I am normally when I go for a shoot, I'm really serious. Work is work for me, but this time things were a little different. There were times that I didn't even feel like I was shooting. It's like I was just having such a good time. And sometimes I would just see someone smiling on set, right? And that would just make my day. That would just make me feel so good. Even just like walking to the set from my room is something that's very memorable for me now. And it changed me. JAR really changed me. JAR changed my perspective of how my life is. Because what I used to think was work is work and there's nothing besides that. And to a certain point, that's true. But from what I experienced, I learned that I got that balance between work and my life. I think that was the balance that I was always looking for. It was something that I did not know was necessary for me. So it's all due to the wonderful people that were there, especially a couple of few people that I do not want to mention, but yeah, it's because of them it made JAR really special and really memorable for me. And I wish I could turn back time and go back to that same spot, shooting, spending time on set and being around those people, but unfortunately I can't. Those are just memories. And yeah, those were some really beautiful memories. It's so weird to think of those memories now, think of those moments now, because whenever I think about those moments, right, I really feel like going back, just to see them again, just to be a part of that whole thing. And the amount of support I received from everyone was incredible. They always had my back. My friends, my team, they always had my back. It was amazing. It was really amazing. I don't have any words to describe how beautiful it was. So, and I think I take that back. The best project you've ever done question. I take that back. I think JAR has to be the best project I've ever done, no doubt. So yeah, those were really amazing moments. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys send me more questions and ask me more questions, and I can make another video like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm Dan Rai from Eyes.of.a.Misfit, and I'll see you in the next one.